Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another After Hours TBR where I play a heist-like game where I run through a bookshop collecting different books and different prompts so that it helps me pick what I'm going to read this month. The links are all down below if you'd like to have a go at playing yourself. And let's just crack on with it, because let's be honest, last couple of months, my reading has been increasing, but it hasn't been great. And I feel like it's because I'm not really giving myself challenges enough. Like, I've taken too much of a break and I've settled too much on my laurels. But I have a couple of books that I have to read next month, and then I'm going to be taking part very passively in Realmathon. I have made a very small TBR that I'm hoping to layer up with other books from my heist TBR, but I'm not too sorry if I don't complete it. I'm only making a TBR for books that take away points rather than adds points, because I'm not convinced I'm actually going to get much of that reading done. But I'm going to throw you over to me playing the game of what I'm aiming for, and then I will come back here and tell you about the books that I've picked for my TBR this month. Okay, so I'm aiming for some contemporaries, I'm aiming for some fantasies, and I'm aiming for some romances. That's what I'm in the mood for. If I pick up some gothics and horror on the way, c'est la vie. But those are the three top genres that I'm aiming for today. So there's a fantasy, great start. So with Realmathon, I've got this like mini TBR. I'm not super convinced I'm going to be able to get through a lot of it, and I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. But other than that, I have very few reading plans, skipping the non-fiction, literary contemporary, and skipping the non-fiction because I'm just not in the mood for non-fiction right now. Don't want historical fiction. Yeah, so I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't hit it, but if I do, then great. Don't want that one. Let's keep going. Speedy, speedy, speedy. It would be a lot quicker as a game if I stopped walking into walls. Let's grab a thriller mystery, can't resist. And it might fit one of the prompts. Yeah, it might fit one of the books that I already have planned to read. Let's grab another one. Why not? I'm annoyed that I haven't seen any romances yet. I'm a little concerned because I know at least a couple of those books are definitely romances and definitely count as romances. Oh no! I'm timing out. I'm timing out. Come on, quickly, quick. Otherwise it's just going to throw me to the ground. What is this? What is this zigzag? Why have I never seen this zigzag before? Why is that? Come on. Come on. No. Okay, I'm not picking up another thriller mystery. I want a romance. I want to find a romance. Because I've got a couple. I've been really good though to actually be on top of the Patreon picks. I don't need one of those. I've got two already. Okay, romance. Sweet. Okay. In which case I can aim for this gothic. Because I've got a gothic on my list as well that I need to read. And then if I have a spare, I'll do the non-fiction. Go on then, you can have one. Oh, I've still got space. That's exciting. Oh, there's another gothic. Okay, right, let's see if we can get up and round. Up and round for the gothic. Because the more of those I have, the more chance I've actually got of actually ticking off the prompt that I need it for. Let's grab a literary contemporary first. Ah! Actually, a really strong TBR, and I only timed out once, which I think is a personal best for me. So we have sci-fi, fantasy, and mood read. The greatest prompt of all. Gothic fiction ugly cover. Not a good time. Literary contemporary blue cover. Thriller mystery LGBT characters. Thriller mystery genre crossover. Interesting. Romance from a BIPOC author. Easily done, I'm sure. Gothic fiction lowest rated. Non-fiction cute cover, literary contemporary readathon prompt, yes, and then gothic fiction booktubers best books of the previous year. That's going to be really hard because I don't know many people or many booktubers that actively read gothic fiction who would then put it as their best read from the previous year, but I will give it a go. I'm going to go put that list of books together and I will see you in here. I will see you here again very shortly. Okay, so a couple of things straight off the bat. I have two books that I have to read. Now, I actually ordered myself a copy of 𝚈𝚘𝚎 𝚆𝚘𝚎 by Charlotte Dacre. This is the pick that was the Patreon pick from last month, but I didn't actually have a copy, so I have bought myself a copy now, and I've decided that I'm going to be reading and annotating a page a day and updating that on shorts, because I haven't done anything with YouTube shorts recently, and I thought that might be a fun way to start. It's just kind of going super gothic annotation with it. So that's my plan for that one. This was picked for me by one of my patrons, Kat, so thank you, Kat. I'm actually kind of glad it's a lot shorter than I was expecting. For some reason in my head it was going to be super long. It is dense, it is a very small writing book, but I tell you what, it has an excellent flop. So that's the first book that I have to put on my TBR. The second book that I have to put on my TBR is the 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚜 pick, which is Certain Dark Things. 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚜 is where me and some people on my Discord read through every 𝚘𝚑𝚎 𝚘𝚌 book, and we are up to Certain Dark Things. The live show for Mexican Gothic is actually next week, so I need to read that first because I haven't read it yet. But there wasn't much time between the last live show and this one. I've got plenty of time because the live show for this one will be on the 9th of April. So if you fancy reading about Mexican vampires, feel free to jump on that one. Okay, so now to my after hours prompts. The first book is Gothic Fiction Booktuber Favourites, and I saw this coming up a lot, both on Booktube Favourites and really highly ranked on Goodreads. And this is The Reformatory by Tanya Reeve Dew, which is about a young man of colour going to an all-boys school and there being like ghostly, spooky, racist shit going on. I know very little about it other than that. This was an arc unhauled to me from Olivia, so thank you, Olivia. It is also enormous, but I'm really hoping to get to this one because I've heard really good things. Really good things about this one, so very excited to try that one. Another book that was unhauled to me from Olivia, not because they didn't like it, but much like with The Reformatory, because they had multiple copies. For Literary Contemporary, a readathon prompt, this ticks off some 𝚘𝚑𝚎 prompts. I'm going to be reading You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by 𝚘𝚑𝚎, and again, this is like a literary romance love story. Apparently it's carnage, it's messy, it's beautiful. So I'm really excited to get to this one because the only 𝚘𝚎 books I've read thus far are Pet, and I think I started The Death of 𝚕𝚑𝚎, but I never finished it. But I'm really excited for this one. For non-fiction, a cute cover, I have gone for Ed Gamble's Glutton. This was a book that I treated myself to around Christmas time. This is a non-fiction about Ed Gamble and his relationship with food. He is a very greedy boy, self-described, but he is also diabetic, so I'm imagining it's going to have some of that stuff about his life in that. He obviously hosts or co-hosts with James Acaster the Off the Menu podcast, which I adore, and I really couldn't decide between his autobiography or the non-fiction written by James Acaster that I have left, which is Quitting Social Media, which was gifted to me by Hannah Ryan. But this had really, it's the colours. The colours are super cute to me, and that is the only reason, because both those boys are stunning and I love them very much. Next was Gothic Fiction Lowest Rated, which was Go Hunt Me by Kelly DeVos. I have TBR'd this before, but not for a while, and I'm really tempted to vlog this because it relates very closely to the Patreon book of the month for March, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if you're a patron then you already know, and if you're not a patron, you should be a patron, right? So I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard really mixed things, but I feel like it's the same people who really didn't love Ruin Song, and I adored Ruin Song. So the fact that those people are umming and ahhing about this one, I'm more inclined to say that I will like it because of that, if that makes sense. Now this one might be a stretch. This one might be a stretch, and I'm willing to admit that. For thriller genre crossover, I've gone for Death Note Black Edition Volume 2, which is technically volumes 3 and 4 of the original print, and I'm really excited for this one. I'm taking it as a cross genre. Technically it's a cross form because manga is a form, not a genre, but because it has magic in it, magical realism in it, and demons, that's what the cross genre is. It's whether you agree that it's a thriller or not. Because for me, if it's a criminal versus the police, that's a form of thriller. Like, it's a crime mystery, but except in this instance we know who the bad guys are, or do we? So I'm really intrigued to get back into this world, and I promised that I would get to them this year in my full owned TBR, so this is me putting my money where my mouth is by actually reading one this month. Another book that I have TBR'd before is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. This is for thriller LGBT. Now, usually LGBT, it's characters. This one just said LGBT, I think. I can't remember. So because I know that Sarah Gailey has written many LGBT books, I'm going to assume they're either LGBT or an ally, and therefore I'm going to take this one. Echo Wife is about a woman who finds out that she has been cloned by her husband, and it goes from there. It has thriller vibes. I'm very intrigued, and I have been putting this one off just because I haven't found a good enough reason or time to pick it up. But I feel like with the weather being that thing where it's like really, really sunny but really, really cold, it's giving a vibe and I kind of want to read it now. For literary contemporary blue cover, I am re-TBRing Crossing by 𝚘𝚘𝚎 is how I think you say it, but I'm still not convinced. This is the LGBT literary set in Algeria. I think I thought it was Albania. It might be Albania. I think I said Algeria last time and it's actually Albania. Regardless, I'm reading it because I'm trying to read more widely, as in like across the world, which is why I got this initially, but also it's ticking off this prompt. I'm re-TBRing it because I only got 40 pages in last month, so I'm re-TBRing it. Now, as you know, if I TBR something 3 times and don't read it, I have to unhaul it. So if I fail to read this month or I TBR it again, then I might have to get rid of it, and that'd be a real shame because I feel like it's out of my comfort zone and that's a good thing. I need to be reading more out of my comfort zone and this ticks that off. For fantasy mood read, I'm going to be rereading Red Seas Under Red Skies because I really want to get myself the canvas edition of this, and I can't really justify doing that until I've read or reread my paperback. But this is in such like horrible state because I've had them so long. I really, really enjoyed this the first time I read it, and basically in the first one you find out who 𝚘𝚘𝚎 is and what him and his gentleman pursuers get up to. In this one, they're pirates, so we love that. I'm excited to get back into this world, but I'm rereading this as a mood read because I want to get another book that's basically this, but prettier. For a romance with a BIPOC author, I've gone for Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo. This author I think is American Chinese, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that this is an LGBT romance with kind of historical fiction and some mystery elements to it. This was gifted to me by Abby, so thank you again, Abby. I did say I would be getting to all my gifted books this year, and I'm really, really excited to get to this one. It looks like it's going to be pretty magical. I'm hyped. I hope it has a happy ending. It probably won't, but I hope it has a happy ending. And then finally was a gothic with an ugly cover. I am going for Wounded, which is the first in the Stephen Cole Whaling trilogy. That is an ugly cover. There's no getting around that. That is an ugly cover. But this follows a young boy who is on holiday with his family when he basically gets kidnapped by a bunch of werewolves and monstery type things happen. It's very, very gothic, but it's very easy gothic because it's more of like an urban fantasy American gothic. But I really, really enjoyed it when I read it as a kid. This is a reread. I'm hoping it holds up. I've started it a little bit and it's holding up so far, but fingers crossed it actually maintains that because there's never a guarantee. And then I have a few books for Realmathon, which like I said, I'm planning on TBRing, but I'm not going to hold myself to. The first one was gifted to me by Celine, and actually the second one was also gifted to me by Celine, which is Jade Fire Gold and Älazzo. These tick off a couple of the Realmathon prompts, including but not limited to isolated setting and using initials, etc. So I have both of those books on my TBR this month. I then also have Wench. This one actually ticks off multiple prompts, including a new to me author, an author's most recent release, and a one-word title, which totals a -5 points, which is, if I read this one book, I tick off 3 prompts and -5 points to another team, which would suck for that team, but is what it is. For those who are wondering, I'm in team creation, so it was a mistake to go against Becca, I'm sure, but I made my choice. I made my choice because it made it easier to choose another book later. Actually, let's not preamble, let's just tell you. Creation, I've gone with Godslayers for the word related to the team prompt. Creationism, creationists, Godslayers. That's why I've gone for that one. For romance, plot and multiple POV, I'm hoping it has multiple POV. We have the Bromance Book Club, which is about a bunch of guys who go to a romance book club to kind of sort their love lives out. This was gifted to me by Hannah from Bookworm's Feast. Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm really, really excited to get to this one, and I know that it's the first in the series, so if I love it, I will probably be putting the rest of the series on my wish list for myself anyway. Final book on this massive TBR ticks off the prompts, book featuring death and 2+ authors. I am going for Violent Love, which is by a collection of different artists and authors. This is volume 2 in what is essentially a true detective style murder, mystery, gangster, war thing. These two are in love with each other and they're violent about it, and things are happening. I really, really like the first one. I was really pleasantly surprised because it was a total guess in the dark whether I would like it. I think I bought it purely because it had love in the title and I needed a book / graphic novel that had love in the title, but I'm really, really enjoying Violent Love, so I'm glad to finally get back into this world. 18 books in a TBR is by no means my biggest TBR. and totally doable. I used to have an average of 17 books a month. This is totally doable. I mean, admittedly, I'm working more now and I have more to do in general, but it's doable. I believe in myself. I totally believe in myself. Leave a comment down below on which book in my TBR you think I should prioritise, or if you just want to let me know you were here, feel free to leave a little vampire or bat to let me know you were here in the comments down below. Treat yourself to something on a point. Check out all the links down below because there are a whole bunch of socials and also my Patreon now. Like and subscribe, and most importantly, have a nice day.